managers, engineers, and scientists ensure that the long-term management of the landfill is safe for our workers, customers, and the environment. To learn more, visit our website at www.broadhurstlandfill.com, or you can go to the website, click Visit Us, and sign up for a tour to see firsthand how we operate. We hope to see you soon.
Jessup Premium Storage, 1455 South 1st Street is Jessup's best place to store your valuables. Whether it's furniture between moves or just a place for the overload, call Jessup Premium Storage at 530-8003. That's 530-8003. Jessup Premium Storage units are indoors, climate controlled, and they have 24-hour surveillance and on-site management. You have 24-hour, 7-day-a-week access to your unit. Sizes range from 5x5 to 10x25. They also have outside covered and uncovered spaces available for vehicles, boats, trailers, and RVs. Jessup Premium Storage on the Waycross Highway in Jessup.
No fake deals at Mike Birch Ford. 0% financing on nearly every new vehicle on our lot, plus trade-in assistance. 0% can save you thousands. Available now on F-150, Focus, Edge, and Escape at Mike Birch Ford. 0% with approved credit. See dealer for details.
And good morning. You're listening to the Big Dog, WIFO-FM in Jessup, 105.5 with your FM dial. Butch Hubbard here with you. On this Tuesday morning is the 7th of, the 7th month, 11th day, so 7/11, 2017. Currently here in southeast Georgia, we have 75 degrees here in southeast Georgia, 40% chance of afternoon showers, high today of around 92, heat index of 101, so very humid today. And the Audubon River level is still falling at 9 feet and falling. 105.5 FM in Jessup, Big Dog Country, WIFO, world famous Butch and Bob show for this Tuesday morning. And that's 4 minutes after 8 o'clock. And the world famous Butch and Bob show brought to you by Republic Services, by Jessup Premium Storage out here on the Waycross Highway. Also brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply on Northeast Broad Street in downtown Jessup. And also brought to you by Mike Birch Ford in Blackshear. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
How are you doing today? Good. Good. Got all your yellow jacket stuff on there. Just jacket proud, aren't you?
I was headed to the scrimmage, but there is no scrimmage.
No scrimmage. McIntosh did not want to come over, huh?
I just had some kind of problem with transportation.
Oh, okay.
Transportation fell through. So
Still busting and crank up.
I'm not sure what it is, but Coach Cribb texted me last night, let me know that it's not taking place today, so I'm still going to go by and practice today. They do have practice today, so
Okay.
see how things are going. Get ready for Midnight Madness August 1st.
If you want to know what Midnight Madness is, they're not able to do a certain amount of practicing or pads or hitting, I don't know what it is, until that particular day. So instead of waiting until the morning to practice, they do it right after midnight.
Right. They have a meal and a movie beforehand. So
Remember the Titans. Boy, that was a good movie.
it's a great movie.
I mean, I've seen it a few times and just enjoyed watching it. As you had that integration of two schools where the African Americans and the whites happened to come into one school, and it's just it kind of shows you what a team sport can do as you bring two different groups together and mix them together and have a common goal of winning football games, and of course them all the way up to the championship game. And just a great movie about how hearts and minds were changed and how hard work, dedication, and trusting your teammate pulls the team together. But boy, was he a rough coach.
Coach Boone.
Yes, sir. He was a very rough coach. A lot of discipline, a lot of hard work. And but just a great movie. If you haven't seen Remember the Titans, Denzel Washington, and a great cast there, and based on a true story, you need to see it. Very inspirational. Very inspirational.
The young girl now, the star from Nashville.
The star of Nashville, the young girl?
The young girl that was in that movie, the coach's daughter that was all knowledge about football.
Yeah.
And she's grown up. Now she's one of the stars on the hit TV series Nashville.
Okay. Well, I ran to Ashley yesterday at Piggly Wiggly. I was here in Jessup. I was pushing my cart around, and the owner, Ashley, was there. And he's got a store up in Ellabelle, isn't it? It's called Ellabelle?
Oh, it's Ella-J.
No, Ella-J's way up in north, above Atlanta. I think it's Ellabelle, which is just one of the small towns up there toward the Savannah area. I think it's Ellabelle is what you call it. Well, the actress, Goldie Hawn's daughter, Dakota, what's her last name?
Fanny.
Fanny? Yeah, Dakota. in 50 Shades of Grey. Well, they filmed a scene for a movie up there, inside and outside of Piggly Wiggly up there, and may come back and do it again. Her co-star, and I don't know how to pronounce his name, the one that got arrested a couple of days ago in Savannah for being drunk in public.
Oh, John's gonna show me his picture.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
That's not the first time that he's been arrested for incidents like that. He's done it in other towns when they're shooting movies or at other times. But he was not there. Ashley was not there to see Dakota inside of his store and outside the store. They were there for about 4 hours, filming different scenes around the store, inside the store. He didn't know what the storyline was. They were just decided to say, all right, you can use our store to shoot these scenes. So when this movie comes out, whenever it is and whatever it's called, you'll know that it was shot at one of Ashley's Piggly Wiggly stores. So, they'll probably use like 4 hours. If they come back, they'll probably do another 3 or 4 hours. Yeah, I know. I've got the name up here. It's SHIA LaBeouf, LABOUF. That's the male leading star. Yeah.
I've seen him in several movies, but I can't think.
Yeah, but Dakota was there, and of course the whole crew. About 4 hours of filming. They'll probably use that with about 2 minutes worth of film and time on the movie. But I know that I heard on the news this morning, Georgia News Network, about how what brought in about $2 billion last year or something like that in economic impact of the state of Georgia with films being shot in Georgia, and it's just great. Okay, Dakota Johnson, I know her last name is Johnson now. Is she married or something?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Maybe not. I said maybe the wrong Dakota.
Okay, well, this is the Dakota that was in 50 Shades of Grey. I never saw that movie, but I know about it. They had the book and they had the movie, and I think another one came out also. But Dakota Johnson, who was in 50 Shades of Grey, filming a scene for her new movie up there at Piggly Wiggly in Ellabelle. I think it's called Ellabelle. Up that way, one of Ashley Thompson's Piggly Wiggly stores. Dakota Johnson in 50 Shades of Grey, not Fanny. Yeah, well, that's okay. It's Dakota Johnson, who was in the movie. But it's just great that we've got somebody we know that owns a store that is having a scene filmed inside one of his stores. Too bad Ashley couldn't have been there.
Is he going to get any pub battle? That's the thing. Are they going to show it being a Piggly Wiggly store?
I have no idea. He has, you don't know that. They go and they do all this filming. The director does all this filming, and then they go into the editing room after it's all said and done, and they may have 50 hours worth of filming cut down to an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours. A lot of editing that goes on. A lot of editing. Where they do all these scenes and try to put it all together. But I just think it's great that Dakota Johnson in this new film was being shot all throughout the southeast Georgia area, and that they were being filmed there. How they picked that Piggly Wiggly in that small town, I have no idea. Because they're filming some in Savannah. They got tons of grocery stores there. So it'll be interesting to see how all this works out when the film finally comes out. It's just good to have these films being done here in southeast Georgia, not only in the Atlanta area, but down here in southeast Georgia. Well, as I mentioned on the text message coming in this morning to Jonathan, that here I'm beep-bopping down Kville Road, and then I look ahead and I see this mass of something moving down Kville Road, and it's going away from me. And it was like 75 cows. It was probably about 6 guys out there, a couple of young boys, probably around 12 years old. They, were on 4-wheelers, and the other guys were on 4-wheelers, and they was herding these cows, I guess, from one field down to another field. I guess it's the only way they could get them there. And so I decided, well, should I turn around? No, this is a scene you don't normally see. You know how you ever watch these movies, like a James Bond movie or something like that, and they're flying along the road. Next thing you know, there's these bunch of goats or sheep or something like that in the middle of the road, and they're having to stop. Well, that was me this morning. I'm bopping down Caveville Road, heading in from the Caveville area. Sometimes I go down Highway 203. Sometimes I go down the Caveville Road area by Greenview Farms, and that's where all this was being done. And so I just followed along. But I'm sure my tires have got probably inside the treads a lot of the residue from the cows that they drop there on Caveville Road. So if you're driving down Caveville Road today around the Greenview Farms area and you see all this stuff on the road, you'll know why, because they herded some cows from one point to another. And as I mentioned, the cowboys don't use horses anymore. They use four-wheelers, which were very efficient. But that was something. You ever been bopping down the road, and next thing you know, there's this whole herd of cows right in front of you, about 75 of them being herded down the road?
I have not had.
Now, I've been down since I've lived in the Caveville area for a while, on and off. I've seen one or two cows out that have gotten out, okay, and they've had to get it and move it back down, but not a whole herd like this.
It was stopped for a few deer in the middle of the road.
Yeah. But that's a lot of beef out there.
It's better than seeing them and stopping instead of running out and hitting them.
Oh yeah, I slow down, look around, for these deer, because a lot of times they don't get out of the way.
Right.
It's amazing. You can ease up on one of the woods and they take off. You can ride down the road with the horn blowing and the lights going and everything else, and they just stand there and look at you like, duh. It doesn't make sense, does it, Bob? You got these hunters out there, they put on the camouflage and they put on the special deer scent stuff, and they get up in these stands and they look around for the deer, and they got to be very quiet because they even cough, the deer takes off. But you can ride down the road and the deer's just standing there looking at you, either on the middle of the road or the side of the road. You got your lights flashing at him, you got your horn going, and he just stands there and looks at you. Try to figure that out.
It's not a good experience.
No, Ron White, the comedian Ron White, he's got a great piece on that about, his relative who goes hunting and all that kind of stuff, and about, that he killed a deer, but it was in his car, and he had the horn blowing and the lights flashing and everything else like that, and they're just stood there and just looked at him. But it's a very funny thing. I miss all the comedy that we used to get a lot from Ron White and Jeff Foxworthy and the Cable Guy, Larry the Cable Guy, and Bill Engvall. That was just great comedy there for a while together as they did that tour and put out a lot of different pieces together. It was a great thing. It's good to just go back and watch it every so often. A lot of people have those DVDs of those shows that they did for, I guess, a couple of years there. They traveled over the United States and did these shows. What was it called?
Made a lot of money.
What was that tour called? And they called. I can't remember what it was, but it was very, very, very funny. If you have any questions or comments for us here on the world famous Butch and Bob show here on Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO-FM in Jessup, you can always text us. We've already got 3 texts so far this morning about the actress there, and the main actor who got arrested in downtown Savannah for public drunkenness. And you don't run away from the cops. That's what he did. They said what he did is he went there and he tried to bum a cigarette off of a cop and just a civilian standing there. And neither one of them would give him a cigarette, so he got a little agitated and started doing some, not choice words at everybody. And then the cops tried to arrest him. He ran off, and of course, they caught him. Blue Collar Tour. That's right, the Blue Collar Tour. Thank you very much. You can text us at 912-427-3711, 912-427-3711. You have to text us because we're talking live on the air, but our main studio and business line is text enabled, and you can text us at 912-427-3711. We just had a couple of people text in and said it was the Blue Collar Tour, and now that jogged my memory. That's right. Just great shows, absolutely great shows. Some of the funniest parts were at the end of it where they'd sit there on those stools with all 4 of them out there together and just kind of just talk back and forth and crack jokes and things of that sort. It's just amazing to me some of the stuff that Larry the Cable Guy does on stage there. I mean, nothing's off limits with Larry the Cable Guy. Just nothing's off limits. All right, 105.5 FM. You had a chance to visit with our congressman yesterday, Buddy Carter. sounds like he's involved in a lot of legislation going on back down here, trying to see what's on the minds and the hearts of folks in the 1st Congressional District. So, how'd it go?
It was a good meeting. I said I had a lot more from him all this week. He talks about health care, talks about the G8 Summit, talks about a lot of different issues. But he met with small business owners down at the chamber yesterday afternoon, which was a good turnout. So, always good to see the congressman.
Yeah.
Busy man.
Yeah. We'll have our Georgia Association of Broadcasters summer convention over on Jekyll right there at the beginning of August, and he's going to be one of our invited guests there to speak. So I look forward to seeing Congressman Buddy Carter there at that. He's a very good friend of the broadcasting industry and supports the local Radio Freedom Act, and so I look forward to seeing Buddy there. I think you and Matt were there yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Was it a packed room in the boardroom there?
It wasn't packed, but it had a good turnout.
Good turnout.
A lot of different people, but mostly small business owners. That's what it was for. The chamber set it up for small business owners to come talk to them about issues like that. But they basically talked about some of the stuff that the county commissioner talked about, how all these unfunded mandates are being handed down, both from the federal government, the state government, the local governments, and it's just hurting local economies and local budgets. The county continues to get hit with more and more unfunded mandates from the state. And the latest is the insurance on firefighters that the county's got to pick up the tab, which will be another approximately $22,000 their budget that they didn't have budgeted in. So it's just one more example. And they talk about the tags where $19 of the $20 goes to the state, only $1 goes to the county. So the county can't even send out a notice to let you know. They used to do on your birthday to let you know your car tax.
Didn't the state think of that you cannot send out notices if you only let the county get $1 out of the $20? I mean,
it's more expensive to send out the notices to.
Yeah, it was like 15.5. They probably could, because a lot of us just forget.
So they lost all that ad valorem taxes, and that's a big hit to the budget for the county. So, but it is what it is. They were talking about that with Congressman Carter. The same thing with the federal government did the same.
Yeah,
just keep passing it down.
Yeah.
So.
Feds are cutting down paying the states. The states are cutting down paying the local governments, but services still have to be done on a local level, which usually means that property taxes go up.
The rest of the congressman is very attentive, very listening to all, takes all that information back and sees what he's only one person, one vote.
Yeah.
But he does. I like the fact that he does visit the district often and takes that information and tries to, as he said, he's always accessible. He always gives out his phone number, his email to anybody that wants to contact him and ask questions. So it was that was one of several events he had yesterday. But again, we get a lot more this week on the local news tomorrow. He'll talk about the upcoming health care vote up in Washington, how he feels that's going to go. Like I said, he talks about the president's trip to the G8 Summit.
Okay.
He talks about the question was asked, why can't they get along in Washington? He talks about that, how they try to find common ground. So just a lot of good information from the congressman from the meeting yesterday. We'll have all that on the local news this week.
Mm-hmm. Well, it just always seems like it's you versus me versus you, us versus them type situation when you come to party politics, always trying to make the other party look bad, trying to find some sort of little piece of information they can use against them. And it's just party politics, been around for hundreds of years. It's just but it just seems, I don't know if it's worse today. It just seems worse. And with social media and 24-hour news outlets, it seems worse today. But nothing you can do about it, Bob. Just let the politicians let the politicians just flap their jaws up there in Washington.
I just thought it's funny how he started the meeting. I said, I was there, the president was there, Dirk was there, and he said he loved the media, so he wants to make sure.
He loves the media, especially on a local level, Really, you're talking about, the problem is the leaders up there in the parties, up there in the Washington area, Washington, D.C. area, and the national media usually don't get that kind of stuff on much on a local level. But it just, you got the fake news going on now. A lot of things that you read on the internet, whether it be Yahoo News or anything else, you look at there, you don't know whether it's the truth or not. Just because somebody writes a story, writes an article, writes a news article, does not necessarily mean it's the truth. They can be totally false, so they can be slanted big time one way. all the facts might not be right. It's their personal opinion on something, but they try to present it in a neutral type of way when it's actually not factual. So you've got to be very careful these days because of the internet and social media and just a lot of fake news going on out there.
The good thing, like I said, he's been a mayor in the past, so he understands how small town governments work and how they need funding. So he's very attentive when people are talking about how these local hits to the economy continue to hurt local governments, because like I said, eventually they're going to have to pass it on, somebody's got to pay for them. So like the local governments are saying, their only alternative is to either raise taxes or pass it on to the taxpayers, so to make it up. So it has to be funded. So it's just a constant barrage of, things that used to be funded by the state, no longer funded by the state. Things that used to be funded by the federal government, no longer funded by the government. They just pass it down. It just trickles down. So,
and local governments are the end of the food chain.
Rural counties like Wayne and Appleton and Pierce and Brandley, all long, they suffer, and it becomes that's why East Boston are so important.
That's the reason why they're so important, right? Because a lot of things wouldn't get done without it.
That's another thing coming up in November. Like I said, all the projects are on the list. The county is going to publicize that in the paper and give it to us, but all that's in order. The vote comes up in November, so they sent the election dates to Tammy, the probate judge. She's supposed to advertise when the dates are, but that's lost. Vote comes up in November, so something you'll see being pushed right when school starts, I guess, because time's running out. I said we're quickly approaching August.
Did I hear correctly? They're not going to do the tax-free weekend this year in the state of Georgia?
That's what I hear.
No tax-free weekend on sales tax. No tax-free weekend this year.
Back to school tax-free weekend, which is kind of disappointing. That was a big event for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, as you said, they're getting less money from the Fed, so
I'm sure a lot of people are already doing their back to school. I mean, August 3rd.
August 3rd.
Well, less than 30 days when school started in Wayne County.
August 3rd, school will begin back here in Wayne County. You'll have different school districts in the area begin about that time or right after it or whatever the case may be. But August 3rd, I mean, it's just amazing how early they begin these days. It's just the way it is. Begin early August and end about the third week in May. School just starts earlier and gets out earlier than it used to. And they spread it out a little bit more during the course of the year, too. They have, more time off, teacher work days, different things to kind of spread out the school year during the year.
I wonder why they did away with the tax-free holiday.
I don't know. Maybe it's just like we were just talking about. Maybe they just can't afford to lose the money because the feds are not funding as many programs as they used to. So the state can't fund as many programs. So they need every single dime they can possibly get to help provide services to the state, to the citizens of the state of Georgia. I don't know. I mean, that's the only thing that I can think of is the fact that the Fed's not giving us as much money as it used to. So we've got to keep every dime we can.
I have to contact Bill Workhouser and Chad Nimmer to find out why they opted to do away with that. I said, I saw it just last week and kind of surprised me because,
It did surprise me.
I mean, I thought it was a successful event the last several years, something that people look forward to.
Okay.
Especially on your big ticket items like computers and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Clothing. Okay. But I'm sure there's a reason why they did away with it. You would think.
They didn't want to give up the money.
It's always about the money.
It's always about the money. Always about the money. Follow the money story. You follow the money, you follow the story. Okay, that's where the trail leads, is through the money. Just about every single thing.
Just like the pool, need money. If there's that $1 million donor out there, they said they'd love to hear from him. Steve Larson keeps thinking there's private funding out there, and measures say, well, let's see it. If there's money out there,
we want to see it.
They want to move forward and make decisions and try to get a plan in order. So I said nothing written in stone, but discussion's still underway. But they aren't. I said when they have these meetings, Steve Larson believes there's private funding for a pool, but they said if there is, then someone needs to step up with that private funding.
Were they looking for grants also of some sort?
Also looking for grants. Like I said, I don't know where that's going. I said I hadn't been to the last meeting, but more meetings are planned. But I said they're ready to make decisions on the pool.
I don't know what all these comments are, but we have some texts that have just come in here. Here at the radio station, here's a text for one person. You can increase property taxes or bring industry and services into the county. What's the IDA doing or remove it or any close right now, bringing any more industry to the county? Do you know anything about that, Bob? But usually that's kind of quiet until it actually happens, because most industry wants everything quiet until they make an announcement.
On Dale over the July 4th weekend, and he's getting ready to come in and just give an update on where the IDA stands. So hopefully we'll have that shortly.
All right, Dale Keith from who's the chairman of the IDA, or actually chief operating officer, what do they call him, of the IDA, will be in here to talk about what the IDA is doing right now. We'll have him on the world famous Butch and Bob show. Another text that came in that says the state is making cuts, but we can waste millions of dollars trimming trees instead of paving roads. So I don't know what that's about. Is the state spending a lot of money trimming trees? I don't know. I know they have to trim trees along the side of the roads and stuff like that. I don't know if that's the cable or power companies that do that to keep the trees off the power lines, but I don't know what that's about. The state is making cuts, but we can waste millions of dollars of trimming trees instead of paving roads. Somebody's got to beat there on something. I don't know what the story is about the state trimming trees. Do you know what that is? I have no idea. Okay. And so there's a couple of comments there came in from folks who've got issues that they'd like to hear more information about. See what our elected officials have to say about it. All right. Anything else on your mind this morning, Bob, that's happening here in the Jessup Wayne County area?
Like I said, the scrimmage has been canceled. Looking forward to the All-Star game tonight. Hopefully the National League will win. But
okay.
Like I said, they're pretty much up against it because all the talent seems to be in the American League. They got some young talent. That Aaron Judge last night, that was a fun exhibition to watch. I mean, yeah. Hard to believe he's that big, 6'7", 280, and can hit like that. But yeah, he's got a lot of young talent.
And it's just like the National Basketball League. They seems like the best talents over on the western side instead of the eastern side. So those things come and go. All right, Bob, have a good day. All right, the world famous Butch and Bob show brought to you by Mike Birch Ford and Blackshear, by Jessup Premium Storage out here on the Waycross side by a highway, by Republic Services, and also brought to you by Murphy Builder Supply, located on Northeast Broad Street in downtown Jessup. 105.5 FM in Jessup, Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO. It's now time for the latest news from Fox News Radio.